What is up, everyone? It's Paul here, back with another video. So, I'm someone who started gaming at an early age, but during my adult years, although I never stopped liking or loving playing video games, I kind of fell away from it a little bit. Well, that was until I bought a Nintendo Switch Lite back in 2020. So, for today's video, I'm going to talk about some Nintendo Switch games that I was absolutely addicted to. The games that I stood up late playing at night. The games that I couldn't put down or couldn't even stop playing to play another game beside them. So I'm going to talk about one that I've played pretty recently, and that game is Splatoon 3. Now, I had never played a Splatoon game before besides a little bit of Splatoon 2 offline only because I actually didn't have access to internet at that time. But Splatoon 3 is a game that got me absolutely hooked with the online multiplayer. I quickly put at least around 20 hours into this game. And let me tell you, this game had me so hooked that I was staying up late, going to work, all messed up the next day because that's how addictive this game got to me. I would just keep telling myself one more match, just one more match. And I have to say as well that I'm not someone who's ever really been into first person or third person shooters or really shooter games at all. And actually, the way I play this game is with a melee weapon with a splat roller, one of those roller weapons anyway, and I can do pretty good with that. Now, I haven't been playing this one too much recently. The only reason I put it down is because we switched internet providers where I lived, and I just, that kind of got me out of the flow of playing it. I was just too lazy to hook the internet back up to my Switch, and I'm trying to tackle more of my single player backlog games, but I am going to try to start playing some Splatoon 3 matches again and hopefully have a better balance with it and not stay up all freaking night playing it because this game is phenomenal. And I would say if you like competitive online multiplayer games and you're a Nintendo fan, you have a Switch, and especially if you never tried a Splatoon game, you need to play Splatoon 3. Now, the next game is one that I've recently beat. I talked about it, I believe, a couple videos back in my must-own collection games for the Nintendo Switch video, and that is Pikmin 1. Now, I had never played a Pikmin game ever, and this game just had me hooked just because of the raw challenge that it offers. Basically, in this game, you're Olimar, Captain Olimar. You fly your spaceship and you crash onto this mysterious planet, and you have to recover 30 pieces of your ship within 30 days. So basically, you come across these little Pikmin alien like creatures, and you will utilize them to fight monsters for you and also to recover your ship parts for you. But this game is just pretty challenging, and I will actually say pretty freaking frustrating at times because the Pikmin, although they do obey you, you have to really strategize the way you make them walk, everything they're going to do, because seems like they kind of just like to die easily. And although it can get really frustrating at times, or at least it did for me, what really got me hooked on this game is just that I knew I could do it, so I would just keep restarting the day if I messed up. And I just really wanted to get those ship parts and get Captain Olimar out of that planet back to his family. And one cool thing about this game is that there's really not any cutscenes or dialogue or any of that at all. You're basically making the story as you go with the decisions you make. And at the end of each day, there's like a day and night cycle, a time limit for, how long you have to get your ship parts. But at the end of each day, you'll see Captain Olimar write a journal entry just speaking about what happened, what you did during that gameplay. But this game provides a pretty good challenge. I would say it's not too hard, but if you've never played a Pikmin game, it is going to be a bit of a challenge for you, I believe. And this is kind of like a real-time strategy adventure game. Great game. I recommend anyone who hasn't got into Pikmin pick up this 1+2 collection on the Switch. I haven't started Pikmin 2 yet, but Pikmin 1 is a great game, and I can see some replayability there. I can see myself going back to it one day and beating it quicker and more efficiently than I did, because I beat it in 26 in-game days, which was a little while, and I think I can definitely do better than that now that I know my way around Pikmin a little more. Now, the next game on this list is one that I quickly fell in love with, and a game that I still love until this day, because this game made me love strategy RPGs and JRPGs in general, because before this, the only JRPG games I had really played were the Pokemon games, and that game is Fire Emblem Three Houses. This game just had me addictive with the great characters, and the kind of life sim, dating sim elements, just seeing their relationships progress because they were so well written, romancing the waifu of my choice, of course. And I have to say, what really also got me hooked on this game, though, is just the great strategy combat, which I feel was improved upon in Fire Emblem Engage. But this game, just the whole package put together with the great strategy combat gameplay, the customization you can do to your units, the story, the characters, the phenomenal music, just had me absolutely addicted to this game, to play it my first time on normal classic, and I'm pretty sure I spent close to 100 hours on it. And I know for sure on my second playthrough I spent definitely over 100 hours on it, because I played that playthrough on hard classic, so that was even more difficult to get through. And if I wasn't trying to tackle more games in my backlog, I would have already played my third route on here. This game has a lot of replayability with 3 different routes you can play, so I do look forward to going back to that. And I never even did the DLC for this game, so this is the game that keeps giving for me, because I know when I go back to play this and even play the DLC and all that, I'm going to really enjoy it. I absolutely love this game. I highly recommend this game to anyone who has a Nintendo Switch, who is a fan of RPGs, or who wants to try out one of the best RPGs. In my opinion, this is it. This is a top 3 Switch game, in my opinion, one that everyone should play, one that had me hooked for probably around 200 hours or more of gameplay. Must play Nintendo Switch game here. Another game that had me absolutely addicted for the Nintendo Switch, Streets of Rage 4. This game really sparked my love for beat 'em ups. Although I had played some of the older Streets of Rage games on the Genesis Classics collections that had come to like the PS2, PS3, and consoles back then, I had never really connected with those games as a kid, probably because I wasn't too good at games. But Streets of Rage 4 is a game that had me absolutely hooked for multiple playthroughs. Then they came out with the Mr. X Nightmare DLC. I was hooked on that survival mode, hooked on unlocking all the characters. The awesome gameplay, beat 'em up mechanics in this game are top tier. There might be some, or at least one other beat 'em up that I like better than this one nowadays, but this is still a classic, which will always hold a special place in my heart. Anytime I could try to get someone to play this game, co-op multiplayer with me, I was trying to get them to play this, trying to beat it on all kind of different difficulties. This game was just a classic, old school, 2D fun game for me, with the modern mechanics, quality of life improvements, great graphics, great music, great beat 'em up mechanics. And this might be a hot take for some classic beat 'em up fans, but I definitely prefer this over the old school Streets of Rage games. I just think this game has a phenomenal methodical combat system. I absolutely love it. This game had me hooked, and this game is one that I can still pick up today and have a good time with. Now, when I first picked up my Nintendo Switch back in 2020, I made a vital mistake. I picked up Pokemon Sword as my first game, and I put like 80 to 100 hours into that game, and then I just dropped it. I couldn't be bothered to ever touch it again. But when I finally picked up The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, this game had me hooked, addicted. I would stay up late. Every time I played this game, it was a really long play session. I would play this on my Switch Lite, which was my first Switch, until the battery died on that thing and I had to put it to charge, or I would play it on the charger and just keep playing, because this game, the sense of exploration that it gave me, just every time I found something new, it just felt so rewarding. The Eventide Island, that was such a cool challenge there. some of those shrine challenges where you get to fight. I don't even remember what you call those enemies, but I really love the combat in this game as well. But just between the combat, the exploration, finding different armor to upgrade with, this game was just so addicting and just gave me that magical childlike feeling again that I had as a kid playing video games. This is definitely one of the greatest games of all time. I know The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I was hooked on that game for a good 50 or 60 hours, and then I just ended up dropping it because it felt a bit similar to this. And although I believe that game is better from a technical standpoint, more content and everything, it just didn't feel the same as first playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the first time. So those are the Nintendo Switch games that had me absolutely addicted. If you like this video, maybe I'll do a part 2. So let me know in the comments, what were some Nintendo Switch games that had you absolutely addicted, staying up late at night, or games that you just couldn't put down, or you were thinking about all day when you were out and about or at work and couldn't play them at the moment? What are some Switch games that really had you hooked? And if you enjoy this content, please subscribe. I will definitely be having some more awesome Nintendo Switch content for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, peace.